views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program host and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by TCN TV Network Incorporated. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. The TCN TV Network claims no rights to the said content. TCN TV Network cannot be held accountable for the copyrighted content. TCN TV Network is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this program.
And then we expand on them with very. I'll finish off the change by buying gum. Pardon? What? And it took me a while to decipher what he was saying. I came up with we can get better at what we're weak at, and we can even get better at what we're strong at. What makes communication healthy or effective? And Welcome to this edition of What Matters, and I am your host, Erica Lita, and today we are going to find out what is the drama with the baby mamas. So, I use that title because, we all need a little bit of clickbait to draw the people in, but it's actually a term that I do not like. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in this first segment. So today we are talking about single mothers and their place in society. So single mothers is a really important topic, something that we need to discuss because it has a huge impact on everyone's life. So even if you're married, or you have no children, whatever your situation is, the thing is with society, with humanity, what one person goes through does affect others. So single moms is really an issue in our society, in our communities. Now, please keep in mind as you watch this show, I am a single mother. I have been for several decades, actually. And so I'm speaking from what I know. I'm speaking from my experiences, but I always come to you researching my facts, looking for more information. So as the title of this show is, What's the Drama with the Baby Mamas? I want to know why it's such a hot topic and why do so many people look down at single mothers, and why is there so much stigma? So we will start at the beginning. So single mom, how do we get single mothers? Well, there are different reasons, but the end result is the same. It could be from having a child out of wedlock, and then the person not committing to them or them not committing to the person. It could be because of separation after having a child. And please note and keep in mind, there's a very specific word for a woman who was married and her husband has died, and that's a widow. And society looks at widows very, very differently than they look at single moms. So, as I said in a previous show, labels really do matter, and they can be for the good or for the bad. So let's start at the beginning. Now, as I said, I'm not a fan of the term baby mama, and that's because of a lot of the connotations that come with it, right? There's a stigma to that. And I'm going to read to you, I hope you guys at home can see this, but I'm going to read that to you. So, what does baby mama actually mean? The term is an African American vernacular English, a dialect of English spoken primarily by African Americans. Slang for the mother of a man's biological child, especially one who is not married to or in a long-term intimate relationship with the child's father. The term started life as a demeaning reference to mothers who were not married and whose relationship with the father was solely sexual, and evolved into a description of any unmarried woman who has a child. Some linguists have concluded that the Jamaican Creole term baby mother is the original derivative. Its first recorded usage is in 1966 Kingston newspaper, The Daily Gleaner, which is still around. The term was originally used by fathers of illegitimate children to describe the mothers of their children, but today it is used to describe any single mother. The term has since made its way into mainstream vocabulary, and it's increasingly being used out of its social and political context to refer to all mothers, regardless of ethnicity or marital status. So, for example, in 2008, they referred to Michelle Obama as Obama's baby mama. And the senior vice president of programming later acknowledged that the use of the term displayed poor judgment. And in the same year, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler had a comedy, Baby Mama. And then there's another reference to Kanye West referring to his wife, Kim Kardashian, as his baby mama. And if you'd pull up the next one, Selena, I think it's just a little clip with the Obama quote. Yes, so Fox News called Michelle Obama Obama's baby mama. And new baby mama, Kim Kardashian, is on fire as she slays in nude beach photos. So in both of these instances, they were speaking about married women who had children with their husbands, but now the term baby mama is just slung around in vocabulary. And now it just applies to any woman with a child. So as I said, I've had this conversation many times with different people about the term. And, you know, when it's been used in reference to me, I've corrected people. And I've had people who have been quite shocked. The reason why is exactly what they stated in this definition, is the origin of the word, what it means. It denotes that there is no real relationship between the mother and the father. It was usually a one-night stand, a sexual experience that went, well, kind of wrong. So in that, looking at the traditional, the original way it was meant as a demeaning term, denoting you have no relationship with the father, saying that your relationship with them is not important. If that is not the case, you may find it insulting. Also, too, as your child approaches 5 and 10 and 15, it is kind of odd that people keep referring to them as a baby. So that's kind of my take on the whole slang with baby mama. Now, that's the thing with languages. It is fluid and it does change through society. And as I said, now it's just used to refer to any woman who has a child, whether they're married, they're black, they're white, whatever it is, it's just baby mama. Still not a fan, but it's always good to know where something comes from. Now, you can put back up the Baby Mama, the movie clip, the little picture of that. And what is interesting, again, please keep in mind that when used towards African American or black women, it takes on a very different tone than when it's used casually and in jokes with other cultures. And the that article that I got it from, I think it's already up on my business page, Erica Elita, and I will be posting it on my Facebook. But what's really interesting is the difference culturally, what it means and what it implies. So you have that movie with Tina Fey, and it's called Baby Mama, and it's actually about one lady who wants to put her eggs in another lady. But it just has shows you how common the term has become, and that people really don't look down on it maybe as much as they used to, because everybody's being called that. But as the article states, that if you really are a baby mama, and that truly is the category that you fit in, you do face much prejudice, you do face much scrutiny, and it really is very interesting when we take terms and situations that may denote someone else's struggle and we appropriate them for, general use and digestion. So that article is really, really interesting. And it actually comes from a lady out of New Zealand who even speaks more about the appropriation of culture and words and terms. So it's a short read, but it's a good one. So when we come back, I found an amazing video by this young video blogger. I'm trying to find her name now. What's her name again? Is it Chim? I'm going to remember. After the break, I'm going to be able to tell you what it is. But it is a really good video. And again, not sitting in judgment, because as I say to you, I'm a single mom. But as I've told people for many years, speaking to other young girls, who would look at me and my daughter and say, well, you know, you seem to have it together and it looks so easy. And even at a very young age, I discouraged any other woman from taking the same path. Even in these times where women are financially independent and so much has changed about the dynamic of our relationships and our families, single motherhood is not the way to go willingly. And when we come back, we're going to talk a bit more about the stigma that single mothers face and the difficulties. And then later in the show, we'll be talking about some solutions. So I'd love to see your comments, your questions, and you can always call into the show. So we will be right back after this break.
My name is Trish Curling, and I am an online coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher, and your new host of Shaping Life, which is all about understanding that we have the ability and the control to take charge of our health and wellness. But we can't do it alone, and I can't wait to sit down with the best in the industry. Please tune in every Friday at 1 p.m. live here on the TCN Network.
This is a problem that happens in all races and demographics and cultures, not just Black women. But I want to speak directly to us Black women because I do not feel the need to speak to women who I just don't relate to. But not only that, but I feel like the perception of a Black baby mama is one way in comparison to a white baby mama or whatever. And we know this is fact. So when people pose the argument that it's wrong for me to talk directly to Black girls about being baby mamas, as if I'm only saying that Black women are perpetrators of the issue, that's just not where I'm coming from. I speak on it because the perception and situation we have is usually totally different and worse off than some of our other female counterparts.
Welcome back, and that is a clip from a YouTube video that I will be sharing on my social media. And this young lady who's in her early 20s had a lot of really great points on the issue of single mothers. Now, as you heard in that first clip, she is really speaking specifically to Black single mothers, and I'm speaking to everyone. So there are things that are very much community specific. And it is true that in general, when you see photographs or any depiction of single moms, whenever you see the Black single mom, she often looks like she's struggling, where the white single mom is often smiling and a lot more relaxed looking, and explanations are often given as to why, versus with when you see Black single moms, there's actually a completely different idea and connotation to how they ended up where they are. So I will be playing several more clips from that video, but I thought that that was very interesting and that the difference in perceptions. Now, one of the things, and I think I have the lone parent stat there, where we've got 1 out of 5 children growing up in a lone parent home. Now, the vast majority of that are with their mothers only. Up there I have some Canadian stats. I believe in the United States it's a little bit higher, but this is a worldwide phenomenon. And it's increasing as time goes on. So more and more children are being raised with single moms. Now, one of the problems that we are facing, the Black community is facing, is that baby mama culture is being pushed. This is something that you see being glorified by media outlets. You have a lot of influencers, whether it be through Instagram platforms or Facebook platforms, where this baby mama culture is really becoming a trend. And what is really interesting is that a lot of these young women are educated. do have college degrees, do have careers. They're entrepreneurs. Some of them, it might be hair or fashion, but have earning power and are getting involved with men. Often, a lot of the ones that are really popular, they're rappers, ball stars and so forth, and they are putting themselves in the position of having children with these men and without the commitment, and then becoming the baby mama. And we're seeing this more and more. Now, with there's a backlash that's going on, and this is very interesting. Now, as I said, I'm coming to you as who I am, and one of the things that I am, one of my labels is that of a single mother. And it's not a label that I've liked, because I know as soon as people hear it, they immediately start to have all kinds of ideas about the type of person that you are. And another video that I will be sharing with you online, I found, and it's called 15 Reasons Not to Date a Single Mother. And I cannot lie to you guys, it hurt. It hurt to listen to, it hurt to watch. He is not kind. And his basic summary is, single mothers are obviously women who make bad decisions. They're not smart people. They're not good mothers. And the proof is in the fact that they are single mothers. So his video's quite lengthy, but he goes for it. And this is the idea that I know many, many people have. So as I said, it's never been a label that I loved, but you are who you are. And I think it's really time to address it, especially with the new generation coming up. So the next part of the video that I'm going to play for you, she addresses this backlash and what has happened with the feminist movement and women claiming the rights to their lives and so forth. There's actually been a 180 in terms of regards to marriage, whether or not women want to get married. And speaking from my own experience and women that I've spoken to, I feel that there are a lot of women who are against marriage because they really are. They are not even against it. For them, they aren't interested in getting married. That's not what they see for their lives. But for women that are often very adamantly and loudly against marriage, I feel that a lot of that comes from a place of hurt. Maybe they feel that they've missed that opportunity. Maybe it hasn't worked out, so they put it down. But especially with our young ladies in the teens and in the 20s, what you are seeing is a backlash against being married. And like I said, this glorification of the baby mama culture. And so I'm going to play a little clip from the video, and I think she explains it really well. If you'll cue that up for me.
We just give men everything without any security of anything, okay? A man does not and usually doesn't stay with a woman just because she has his baby, and it's a very sad truth. Many a times I've heard young single mothers tell me that a baby did not fix their situation or make a man stay, and I'm not going to tell anyone what to do, okay? But I would want to caution females to think about the emotional and the permanent attachment of a newborn baby and how it does not necessarily mean your man or whatever he is to you is going to stay around, which is often the case. When it comes to marriage, because that is a level of commitment, I just think that many people do not value the idea of matrimony for the right reasons and think because that we are in this era where we have more liberties than we had in previous generations, that any woman telling them not to follow the traditional route to motherhood, you know, dating, fiance, marriage, wedding, then baby and family, is speaking out of context and quote unquote not allowing women to do whatever they want. But that isn't it. My opinions and commentary comes from a place of concern because I see it happening all over me. And, you know, I just know that that's not the situation that a lot of people want to be in. And oftentimes people get so uptight and defensive when I say I want to wait till marriage to have kids, as if I'm saying something wrong. Like, this is my preference, as if you have your preference, or even if it wasn't the preference that you had, you stayed within that situation. And I don't mean to chastise or condemn anybody for that. Genuinely, I don't mean to judge your situation, but I do not want the burden of doing it all on my own because I did not make the spiritual, emotional, and legal commitment with someone to raise a baby, whether that be marriage or anything else. And maybe it's because of my Nigerian roots, I don't know, but it's just uncommon to see a young girl in Nigerian culture to not follow that order. It's almost shameful if you do it any other way. And
So I think she said a lot of important things in there, and she does refer to her own culture. She is Nigerian. And a lot of the pictures you saw, I think all of the pictures you saw are of Instagram models, celebrity baby mamas, girlfriends, side chicks, all the different titles that they get. But she brings up something that's really important, that, and I'm seeing this too, that when women state that, no, I'm getting married and I'm having babies only with my husband, that you do have some women that seem to come out of pocket at them like, well, why? And, you know, it's not that important. I think there's so much value to the traditional family setup that we have pushed against because so many of us are not in a traditional family setup. So instead of admitting that we do not love our situations, that we would prefer our situations to be different, instead we glorify our situations to make ourselves feel better and kind of put down the situation that we have not been able to achieve or attain. Now, again, these are generalizations. I know that there are women that are on their own that are truly happy. Sometimes it's because they've moved out of abusive relationships. But as she says in her video, and I thought it was a very good point, I don't think there's many single mothers that can honestly say they wouldn't prefer to not be single mothers. So that is really important. We need to look at why we rally against certain things or why we try to shame people out of traditional mindsets or values, especially if that's what's working for them. The statistics are there, and you have the majority of homeless children are from single mother homes. The majority of incarcerated men are from single mother homes. The majority of children that live in poverty, and I can go on and on. And as I said, I'm a single mom, and I can tell you that it hurts to be blamed for everything. So when we come back from this break, let's just take a little look at that. Are we to blame all of society's problems on single mothers? Are they like a symbol of everything that's wrong, or are they a symptom? We'll be right back after this break.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Welcome back to this edition of What Matters, and today I'm talking about the baby mama drama. Single moms, are they a scourge on society? Are they what's bringing us down, or are they a symptom of the problem? And I encourage you guys to comment, to call in. I don't have the number up yet though. And to share. I'd really like to hear your opinion. Even if you catch this on the replay, don't hesitate to message me or comment under the video. So, oh, there we go. My girl's it. So we have an active viewer that's really giving her 2 cents. And what is this lady's name? Tracy Clark. So Tracy, I thank you. And I am going to get to all of your comments when I get home. But I agree with you. Selena did read some of them to me. And it is a worldwide problem. And I do care. And I would like to prevent others from making, you know what, I'll say it just like this, and this is not me sitting in judgment. Remember, I'm a single mom, but I'd like to prevent other women from making the same mistake. Yes, mistake, because it's not about you. It is about your child. And if you've been following me, and if you haven't, you can always go back and catch the videos. But over the last few weeks, I've been speaking about fatherlessness. We addressed fatherlessness and gun violence, and then fatherless daughters, and what this effect has on children. And children need both parents. It doesn't matter if they made you in a petri dish. That yin and yang, that the two sides are very important. And then every individual has different traits, but there's a reason that it takes two to make a child. And yes, you can run a race with one leg, but wouldn't it be better to do it with two? So, as I said, I really love this video, and I hope you're loving this lady's video too, because, you know, she's kind of funny. She's young, and that's really, I mean, even the older single moms like me, I do have solutions for us at the end of the show, because this is not just about berating people or pointing them out, but we want to prevent situations that aren't great, and we want to cure what already exists. So we're going to talk about that. Now, the next video that I want to play for you actually goes right with what she was talking about before. So we're seeing a lot of people, young people, putting down marriage, saying, oh, I don't need that, I don't need no man, I can do this on my own. No, 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 no. Yes, you may be earning the money and able to pay for things on your own, but the logistics of raising a child is bananas. It really is. So you really want to be careful with that thought. So I want to run that video, and then I want to speak, am I going to have enough time at the end? Yeah. So we're going to just play that video about the benefits of marriage. I think the things that people are starting to forget about. And before she plays it, yes, I have this disclaimer. Marriage does not guarantee anything. Marriages fall apart. We've got crazy divorce rates, but the red flags are usually there. And another part of the video, which I did include, she says that you'll see a lot of people giving shut me up rings, where they're giving rings to shut her up, and they never really make it to the altar. So again, that spiritual commitment, financial commitment, legal commitment is there, and it changes a lot. All societies all over the world value marriage and put a lot of weight on it, and it changes your legal rights. So if you could run that third clip, Selena, please.
And giving him sex, food, money, clothes, car, hell, the new NBA 2K game that's coming out next month, all of these things can be retracted. You can take all of those things back. You can suspend all of those privileges, but the only thing you cannot take back is a baby. And I want all girls, Black, white, Hispanic, Latina, Indian, Native American, Asian, I want all girls to know that. Now, I know some people say, you know, marriage isn't foolproof, which is true, but it is still a higher level of commitment and security. God forbid your man is on his deathbed, right? You as a baby mama or girlfriend really do not have any legal right to tell the hospital to pull the plug or not. You are not entitled to his social security. Granted, the child is, but sis, you're not. And there are a plethora of other benefits.
So she talks about the plethora of benefits, and that's one of them. I know that common law laws are changing all over Canada and the United States because more and more people are choosing not to get married. So the government's got to get your money somehow, and they're changing the common law laws everywhere. So sometimes after simply living with someone and having a child with them, they say, well, legally you're married for all purposes and intentions. But what I can tell you is that in some places you really have to watch the common law laws, because they will afford you all of the, for want of a better way to put it, dings of marriage, where, you know, how they calculate your taxes and so forth. But then there are still rights that you are simply not entitled to. I've heard some really tragic stories of people who've lived together for 25 years. And when one of the people got sick, the other person had no right to decide their care after living with them for over 2 decades. People who've been together for many years, and because extended family don't like them or don't approve, when the person passes away, they're taken off properties, they're taken out of, you know, because there's no official wills. So those are things to consider. It does afford you legal protection. But as she said, there's also another part to that, is that it is a higher level of commitment. Now, there are like drive-through wedding chapels. You can get married by Elvis. Some people, doesn't matter how big the ceremony, they don't take the institution seriously. But I think you are batting, you have a better chance if there has been a commitment. And something that a gentleman brought up recently was family planning. Those are conversations that grown people have. And if you are thinking about or in a position to get pregnant from someone, family planning should truly be a discussion. What would you like this to look at? How will this work? Where will the details? And it will tell you a lot about the person's mindset towards parenthood, fatherhood or motherhood, and towards you. So that's really something to take into account. And then I just want to play you this last clip in this section before we start talking about something else. And here she's talking about marriage again. And really, how stable is it? If you just give us that clip, Selena, please.
You're not. And there are a plethora of other benefits to marriage. Now, I'm 22 years old. I just turned 22 less than a month ago. And I probably know little to nothing about marriage. But what I do know that, yes, it is hard. You know, my parents have been married for 28 years now, and I don't know how they do it, honestly. But I think it's better to be married with kids in a knowingly healthy situation, okay? Not just I'm having his baby and we getting married because I don't want to have this bastard child, even though I'm broke, he's abusive, I'm irresponsible, he's unreliable, I'm uneducated, he never finished high school, I work part-time at Burger King, he never finished high school again, but I'm pregnant, so we're getting married. Like, not one of those situations, okay? Because no, okay? Because no. I don't mean to force the idea of marriage on people because, yes, it is not for everyone. Like I have found out from being a young adult and shadowing people around me that are. But to bring kids into an unstable situation, not saying marriages are stability, but they can bring some levels of stability, I think can just be a bit selfish and not in the best interest of yourself or the child. Also, I do not understand why we as young women are downplaying marriage just to justify single motherhood. That's not how it goes. That's what you call a cop-out. Just because your situation is not your happily ever after does not mean we're going to speak negatively about a sacrament of life and, through some religions, a sacrament of Christianity. That should not be the justification. I am sure that most single mothers wish for their child or children to be part of a two-parent household or a family structure that isn't solely on them. You cannot convince me with $1 million that there is a single baby mama out here that wants to be a single baby mama.
Yeah, there it is, where she said, you can't convince me that this is what people really want. And I know that there are circumstances. I actually have a friend from high school that chose to, she had a child from a sperm bank. She wanted to be a single mom. And what was interesting is after she had the child, she looked at them and realized how much they needed that other parent. So again, really looking forward, thinking about what the child needs, thinking about what would be the best situation for the child. I think that's really, really important. And another thing, as I said, I'll be sharing you that video, 15 reasons why you should not date a single mother ever. And in that video, you see a very common, what's the word I'm looking for, idea, is that women are more accountable for negative outcome of relationships. You will see that the woman is often, her thought process, her standards will be questioned when a relationship doesn't work out. You don't often see that the man is questioned, well, why are you not still with her? And what haven't you done? We often see the woman is the one that's told, well, why would you choose him? Why would you lay down and make a child with that type of person? So whether we like it or not, ladies, we are held far more accountable for our decisions with whom we have our children with whom we get married to, than men are. And if you live somewhere where that's different, please let me know. And I would like to see that change, because we should all be accountable for our choices and our partners. But definitely, I guess, as my mom used to tell me, you carried a child, so it's your child. That's how a lot of people look at it. So when we come back from this break, let's talk solutions. We want to talk about what can we do to change this? How can we help? How can we make it better? What can we do? We'll be back after this break.
Yo, this is Conscience and you're watching my TCN TV network. Peace.
World-famous spiritual astrologer and psychic Pandit Sai is born to serve people. He's an expert on palmistry and horoscope. He can handle all problems and give Vedic solutions for business, job, love, marriage, husband and wife problems, children, personal, and many others, including depression. He also performs pujas to clear all sorts of obstacles. Call Pandit Sai and see changes in your life now. 647-766-1419, located at 2895 Derry Road, East Mississauga, Airport Road and Derry.
We all know who that is, whether you like him or not, whether you're a fan or not. I know you know who the gentleman on the left of your screen is. It is Drake, Toronto's own. He is a superstar now, rapper. He started out as an actor. And the reason that I have him up here is because it's very interesting. If you are a fan and you've been listening to his music, he spoke actually extensively about his relationship with his father, or his lack thereof, and the abandonment and child support not being paid, so forth and so on, to fast forward and bloop, he has a child out of wedlock with, I believe she's a French porn star. The child was hidden from the public view for about a year. Another rapper actually outed him about it. A lot of drama. And, you know, he actually had a line in one of his last albums about, I wasn't hiding you from the world, I was hiding the world from you. And we'll stop listening to the album at that point. But my point is, and why I'm pointing it out and why I'm picking on it, is because of that generational pattern. So here we have a man who's articulate, who's educated, who has said several times how unhappy it was for him and how much he missed out, and how much he needed his dad, and how much it impacted him. And then, fast forward, and he's done it too. So that is very, very interesting to me, how these generational patterns continue, even when we are aware of the pain that they cause. And how do we take that next step to really just stop that from happening? I can speak of my own generational pattern breaking. So my mother had me in wedlock in her late 20s. I kind of broke that and had a child in my teens, and I'm very happy to say that my daughter is rounding to 30, has no children. She actually has no interest in them. It's kind of funny. She watched me raise her brothers, and she was like, no, that does not look like a good time. But I was also very honest with her about my experience as a single mother and what that meant. And even recently, as I learned more and more, I call her up, and I have driven home to her how important it is to me that she is married before she has any children. That I do not want her to make babies, I want her to make a family. And this is my opinion, this is my thoughts, and this is what I give to my daughter. But I'm very, very happy to say that I did not become a grandmother at 32, as the predictions went. And my daughter is living her life and having a great time, and this is something that I want to see, and I would like to see her married and build a family. And if that's not her choice, that's good for me too. So solutions. How do we stop this? How do we stop this generational parents? You see here it says raising a family is difficult enough. Single parents struggling to make ends meet. They don't need more obstacles. They need more opportunities. So unlike the gentleman in the video that I watched, I'm telling you, it hurt my feelings. I can't even lie. Where he's just like, you know what, it's kind of, I think if he could put us all on an island, all the single moms and their children, that's where we would go, and then they'd probably sink said island. But we're here, and they exist, and we have many, many success stories of single parents and their children. But sadly, that is not the majority, that is the minority. So prevention would be the first thing. Instilling self-worth and value into our young women and our young men, teaching them responsibility with their sexuality and to look forward to families, giving them situations they can model themselves after. So one of the very first things is let's stop the trend and let's stop it here and speak more about what works and where children get the best results in the situations that they do. And then for the people who are already here, like me and my children, what do we do with them? How do we change the outcome? How do we change the statistics? And in the last 2 shows, one of the big things in fatherlessness is mentoring. It's the people in our community, the men specifically in our community, stepping up and reaching out to the various children in their communities. Another thing that I think would really, really help, this idea of the village. So the single mother needs the village. That could be family, friends, other single moms. I saw a lady post the other day that actually hanging out with other single moms taught her a lot what not to do. And so she did get a lot of education. It wasn't always positive, but she did learn. So you've got, single moms, organized activities, sports. Those are the things that keep your children busy, out of trouble, get them mentors, teach them how to work cooperatively, all of those things. So community is a big part. We've got to put villages around these children that already exist and have them not feel like they're only being raised by one person. And that has been my experience, and that's why I know I'm so fortunate and so blessed, is that I have had massive support with my children. And I honestly believe that's a very, very big part of why they've turned out well, is because it's not just me. Because quite frankly, as good as I am, it's just not something you can do on your own. Another thing, she just pulled it up, but we'll bring back up Morgan. I thought this was so nice. So this lady, was a college student and a single mom, and she missed a class because she could not find childcare. That's like the story of single mothers. And this is a little letter from her teacher. She said, hey, we wondered where you were this morning. She's sorry to hear she had child care issues, but you could still submit your papers, so forth and so on. And then she said, in the future, if you're having trouble finding childcare, please feel free to bring her with you. And I would be delighted to hold her while you take notes, because I believe this is the Department of Family, and I can't remember exactly what course, it's cut off there, but it was actually a course about family. So again, that's one of the ways that we can really help single moms get ahead. And no, it's not appropriate for every situation. I'm not saying that everywhere she goes, she should be able to bring her child, but in situations where she can, why is there stigma? Why are you being prevented? Wouldn't it be better for this child to be cared for properly and that person to be present in what they're doing because they know their child is okay, than to miss out or to not be there? And I can tell you, when I was in college, I had the same thing. And my daughter actually went to college before she went to kindergarten. And I had her attend a lot of my classes at Dawson College. I'd walk in at the beginning of the year and just say, listen, I have this kid, daycare closes at 6, your course closes at 6, can I bring her with me? And if she causes any trouble, we'll both disappear forever. And she used to actually ask questions in some of the classes. So where that's possible, that's amazing. Another thing, if you pull up the employee slide, how employers can support single working parents. And they're saying parents, working moms, working dads. Be willing to trust the employee. Be creative and provide flexible schedules. Offer bus pass, allow a later start time, and let them make up hours. Invest in them and care about the person. And yes, business is business, but when you invest in your employees, it's been proven time and time again, you get more out of them. The loyalty is there, the turnover's not there, and you have people who are more invested in your company because they feel like they're a part of something. So where it is possible, not needing someone to warm a chair and just be there because those are the hours. Is that really when they work? Are they willing to come in on a Saturday? Maybe there's a day during the week that they'll work longer hours. But again, employers being flexible, because single mothers, just like single fathers, are valuable employees that bring a lot to the table. And I can tell you, as a single mom, I have felt this many times, this pressure from society where they want us to raise our children as if we have no job, and they want us to do our job like we have no children. And that's a really hard shake. So again, really thinking of your family planning. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? Is it traveling you're looking at doing? Does this man look like somebody who will be in your life in 5 years? Can you speak to him about real things? Being afraid to speak to your partner is a major red flag when you cannot be open and honest with them and have real discussions, deep discussions about, if I get pregnant today, that means in 2025, our child will be this age, and what do you see yourself doing then? And if you get like a blink blink, you may want to rethink that whole thing. So single mothers, we're blamed for a lot. I think that it's not that we are the cause of all the problems, but we are a symptom of a greater problem. And in bringing up fatherlessness, again, I'm not trying to pick on either sex or either sex. We need to come together and find solutions. And one of the ways we can do that is by listening to one another. And I do believe that because so many of us are hurt and so many of us are in our situations, there are words that trigger us, there are ideas that upset us, and instead of listening to the rest, we immediately get defensive and shut down. But here I am, Erica Lita, and I'm telling you, as someone who's been a single mother for many years, it is not the ideal way. And if you are not yet a mom, please be very careful. I'm going to put that video up because it's good. It is worth all 14 minutes of watching. And like the lady said in it, do not give everything of yourself away. You cannot take back a baby. So I would love to see more discussion from you, with you on this topic. Please comment below. Even if you're catching the replay, I would love to hear what you have to think, and you can feel free to send me a message. So I am Erica Lita, and I thank you for joining me here on What Matters. And next week, my guest is Stephanie. I always call her Ben Simon. That's the French in me, but it's Ben Simon, and she will be here. She's a dear friend of mine and now a published author. So we're going to be speaking about owning it and getting it done and taking charge of your life. You will love this episode. She is so inspirational. I will see you again next week.